hope you enjoyed that little segment from Human Resources. If you want to work somewhere cool, you should definitely send in an application or come to FanFest and talk to them in person. They are really nice people. They don't bite. Some of them don't, but they are really nice people, and this is a fun place to work. You can come be a guest on the Alliance tournament, like these young gentlemen.
Yes.
We have the CSM coming next week. I know you've been somewhat involved with the CSM every time.
Yeah.
They've become stakeholders at CCP, for example.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Well, I mean, that was what came out of the last CSM visit we had, was we incorporated the CSM into our development process. People might ask why were they not incorporated before? But they were, but in a more formal manner. So when we're like deciding on features for an expansion or what we're going to do, we there's a number of like very clearly defined stakeholders. Marketing needs something done, you know, they need a button put in there so that somebody can buy something awesome, and customer service, they would like a button in there so they can ban everybody, basically. And operations want a button in there so people can reboot the server randomly, and so on. So everybody wants their own buttons, and we have to prioritize which buttons. So essentially, we brought the CSM into this prioritization mechanism. So what they do now is they generate this, they're just prioritized list of requests that we then go over, and we take the prioritization very seriously. The stuff that's at the top, we take it very seriously. This is obviously what the representatives of the EVE community want most in the game. And we go over, we recently went over the top 21s with engineering and with game design, and look at them and think, okay, this is going to take one team 5 years to do. And it might make the game a little bit more fun for 5 people. It's an exaggeration. Or this is something that a programmer can do like over a weekend, or it's 2 lines of code, it's 1 check, and just as long as he manages to get it by QA, which is difficult.
As it is sometimes.
Yes.
I believe we had around 40,000 people vote for the last CSM, which is a fantastic number,
yeah.
Which shows that the community is certainly embracing it. I remember when we did it the first time, there was a lot of people who doubted that CCP would take it seriously.
Right.
But I don't think that's been the case. We're so lucky to have a former CSM member here, Darius Johnson. How did you were on the early ones, how did you feel that it was taken?
Well, I was on the first two CSMs, yeah. Yes, and I thought, I was actually surprised by how seriously it was taken, and I think that we've done a lot of work since then, and CCP's actually also done a lot of work since then to highlight things that are actually being done and actually being presented by the CSM. So they've done a very good job of saying, hey, here's a list of things that are currently in the game today. I don't remember the numbers. They were read off yesterday, but they were astounding, that were placed in the game as CSM items, you know, and they might not have existed before. It's really cool to sit down in a room and everybody, sometimes there's presentations, there's always discussion around the things that were decided by the CSM members that would be discussed.
I think it was actually Elven Lord, who we just spoke of, who sent a message yesterday saying that I think it was 33 items have been implemented, 40 are in the pipeline, and 190 are in what we call our backlog, where we have all our work that's scheduled to be done at some point.
At some point.
At some point, yes, yes, hopefully. So, what do we hope to get out of this visit? Is it just new ideas?
Well, what we did different in the last one, which I think you were not in, and it was amazing. It was just, you should have. It was just life-changing. We spent less time actually on the list, and more time bringing them in, and we opened the lid of, we told them exactly what our plans were for the next expansion and the expansion after that. And they're all like AT8 and signed in blood. So we essentially just opened all of the doors and talked very freely about, okay, this is the things that we're thinking about putting in the next expansion. We're doing it because of this, this, and that. What do you think? And then we had a very lively discussion about it. People, I mean, when it starts being about goals, and like what's the goal with changing it, rather than I would like this button more to the left, or you should like boost bombers or stealth bombers or something like that. You know, what's the goal? Why do you want it boosted? Is it like for a balance on the battlefield here? What are the implications? How how differently could we achieve the same goals? And that's a question that comes up, I mean, frequently within game design, because the majority of us that develop EVE also play EVE. So we are really passionate about making these and those changes, both in game design and in QA and just everywhere around the building. People are players and want changes made. So there's no lack of ideas. But the question is, of course, like, what will this awesome idea, wouldn't it be cool if you could, what would be the goal? What would you achieve with it? Like, an idea I've been championing for a very long time, which maybe one day will be implemented, and that's to like take people in pods and put them in your cargo. I would love to do it. What's the goal? It's just to grieve people. I would love to, but that's where it often stops. Like, but things like that.
I have some of those ideas as well.
Yes.
NPCs podding players. Also one of the ideas that never really gets far, sadly.
No.
Was the pod in the cargo hold thing not a bug at one point?
I think there was at some point that you could do something like that.
Yeah, and you could put somebody in your ship, and they couldn't get out.
Yeah. You just have a group of people. I'll protect you. It's fine. I'm going to protect you. And then once you're at the station, go like, okay.
Oh, sorry.
50 million.
Yeah, now you're stuck.
Yeah.
And flush it.
But yeah, and we have a lot of that coming up. And as you were talking about doing the segmented release of Incarna, for example, is that stuff that we would be bringing up with the CSM, for example?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to talk about them, but we'll probably be presenting them the current state of the game design and talk about where we are at and show them the teams and the work that's being done. We had a few shots before of the new avatars. And that system is actually pretty awesome. You can actually go in and grab people's faces and like pull their noses and heads. So it's not going to be like a slider fest like many character customizations are, but you actually just go in there and like mess with the face, and everybody will get to, of course, re-mess with their face once it's out. People who have avatars already. So I'm hoping to like give them a good insight into what's going on. And what's happening, and at the same time, actually, interestingly, at the same time they're here, we are having developers over from Shanghai, from our CCP China office, meeting on the EVE Dust link. We will, and the game designers from Reykjavik and game designers from Shanghai and engineers are actually meeting on in the EVE Dust link and discussing how the mechanisms of it will work. So that's going to be interesting. So CSM members will probably be trying to like plant bugs and
so we have a
listen in on
great week of secret, amazing features that are yet to come that look exciting.
Yes.
Basically. Good. We were talking about the buttons, and you talked about customer support wanting a button. I think we should watch a quick segment about customer support, possibly about those buttons.